Hello everyone. So I decided to do a video on my thoughts of the season 6 premiere. Honestly, I had planned this for a while cuz I don't know how obvious it was, but I was one of the people who believed this season was gonna be the downhill. This season was going to be the worst of the worst, and we were going to see that in this season opener. And I'll be honest, I still can't say for sure. This season opener was not as bad as I expected, but it sure as hell was not as good as I would want a season opener to be. It was probably the weakest. I'd have to look back, but I'm almost sure this was the weakest season opener. Um, Even compared to the very first season opener, which of course, at least that set up the world, even if they were still getting some things set in order. This one was just, stupid. I think that's the easiest way to, describe this episode is stupid, and, that's probably not a surprise to anyone who was like me and saw Princess Flurry Heart was basically the cause behind the conflict of the episode and said this is gonna suck. And that was the entire problem of the episode. The entire problem of the episode pretty much resolves around the fact that everything that bad happens in this episode is absolutely Princess Flurry Heart's fault. You know, the newborn baby, because clearly, clearly we needed an alicorn baby. I don't know if this was Hasbro mandated. I almost hope so, because otherwise this is just too stupid to come up with. Like, if I was writing the show, I sure as hell wouldn't want to write down, like, an alicorn baby. I think the only thing they did to alleviate it is in the show they actually say, because this was a debate among a lot of fans, alicorns, it seems like you have to do something special to become an alicorn. They actually bring it up in the episode. This is, like, the first alicorn baby ever, apparently. So it's not like it's common for these things to just get born, even with alicorn parents, but, that still doesn't really make it better. That just, okay, it makes it a little better. That makes the concept of it existing better. That doesn't fix the episode. The episode's still rubbish, mostly. Surprising, what I will give the episode, the best part of the episode is Starlight Glimmer and her friend. I don't remember what he's called. I don't know, Solar Mick Big Dick? I don't know. Fuck, that's not even close. But his name is something, and, Starlight Glimmer actually, luckily they did what they completely didn't do in season 5. I guess this is kind of like a Sunset Shimmer thing, where Sunset Shimmer, you really don't feel bad for her at any part during the first Equestria Girls movie, but afterwards it's like, yeah, okay, I can see this is kind of hard. Starlight Glimmer still isn't done as well, because they way rushed her, the main characters forgiving her, but you can kind of see her struggle where it's like her entire past of any time since she was a foal can pretty much be described as evil psychopath, which isn't really something you want to tell people. So making friends is kind of hard, and that was actually interesting to see, and I kind of wish it's funny because I was expecting to hate Starlight Glimmer, and that was the best part of the episode was Starlight Glimmer. Um Everything else was kind of dull or dumb. Pinky, I think, had a good joke or two. Twilight had a good joke or two, but she was very, very overdone with her usual book horsishness. I also, it's one of those episodes that magic feels like it's, it feels like magic's very all over the place with how powerful characters are from episode to episode. I guess I'll get into spoiler territory. The main conflict of the episode, which, by the way, this probably didn't even need to be a two-parter, because the main conflict of the episode really is just the crystal heart gets broken. That's pretty much it. If it got broken by a major villain or something, extending the episodes would have been fine, but I think, as it was, they really could have just made it a one-parter. As the only real conflict is the crystal heart gets broken. So this episode also feels like it drags its feet a bit, in my opinion. So the crystal heart gets broken because the baby cries, because it's an alicorn baby, it is super OP bullshit, fuck. You know, all the kind of stuff that I absolutely hate in an episode like a season opener. And I really hate how stupid the main characters are in this episode. There's a lot of things that happen that just don't really make sense to me. Like, Twilight doesn't know an artifact repair spell. That doesn't make any sense. She really should. I almost feel like you could go back and look to a time when she might have repaired an artifact, and even if not, I'm sure she's capable of repairing artifacts. Really telling me out of all the books she's studied, she doesn't know an artifact repair spell? And apparently there's just a spell to suppress baby magic. Like, you're telling me that while Cadance was pregnant, Shining Armor, and Cadance never thought to look up spells like that, so maybe the baby didn't come out breaking everything. Even if they didn't know it was gonna be an alicorn. You know, even unicorn babies apparently have this, where they'll, come out and they're just shooting laser beams, 'cause stupid bullshit. So, you know, really they should have just, used, they should have just been ready with a spell to suppress its magic until it got old enough to not be stupid. So that was annoying. I didn't like that. I really didn't like how no one seemed to have had any foresight. And speaking of not having foresight, they do, really random things. Okay, so I guess I should explain. The crystal heart breaks. Right. That's bad. Crystal heart powers the crystal kingdom. Apparently, without the crystal heart, the crystal kingdom is just a terrible, uninhabitable place where it's freezing and everybody would die. So as soon as the crystal heart breaks, storm clouds start rolling in with, snow pouring down. And one of the things that bothered me is as soon as this happens, Rainbow Dash is like, I'll take care of it, because she's awesome. And Celestia's like, no, Rainbow Dash, you don't understand these clouds. I'll take care of it with Luna. And it's like, what? Okay, sure, so maybe these are different than normal storm clouds. But you're telling me the trained Weathermare shouldn't be doing anything? She's a trained athlete in Weathermare. But the princesses should just be up there shooting laser beams. And near the end of the episode, Rainbow Dash is flying around breaking clouds. So it's not like she's incapable of it. If she was, that would have been one thing, but they literally later in the episode show her fly up and break some of the storm clouds when it's starting to get really bad. So it doesn't make any sense that they told Rainbow Dash to stay behind and try and help everyone else calm the citizens. Does Rainbow Dash even seem like she'd be good at that? I mean, maybe she does. It's hard to say. in this context she wasn't, in this context she didn't really do anything. But really you should have just had her up there breaking the clouds, giving yourself more time. Like, that was just stupid. And there's just so much stupid in this episode. I didn't like it, obviously. And I mean, there were still other things. There were other things I didn't really care for with the Starlight Glimmer and her friend stuff. Like, they did show Starlight Glimmer as a filly was super magically powerful, and that was annoying and stupid. And they kind of showed that with her friend, but not really, but sort of, and I don't know. That flashback sequence was kind of annoying and stupid with their magic levels, but aside from that, really, like, the interactions between the two now were actually kind of cute and interesting and genuine, because, spoilers again, Starlight Glimmer is hiding the fact that she became a terrible person after she didn't talk to her friend for forever, and her friend that she's talking to now, that she hasn't talked to in forever, is hiding the fact that he didn't go on to make anything of himself. He went on to he went on to magic school, but he didn't learn how to become a wizard because his magic just isn't good enough. He was studious enough to become powerful, but just because he knew the spells doesn't mean he could do the spells. So he kind of just he basically became Moon Dancer again. We have another Moon Dancer, except not exactly. He's not as shy, but, it's pretty clear he just kind of shuts himself in and reads shit all the time. And he's like, no, don't bother me, outside world. The sunlight, it burns. No, so, there's definitely interesting, awkward interactions between those two, and I honestly would have rather that was the entire episode. Maybe have it split completely into two, like this stupid flurry heart nonsense can be episode 1, and then this Starlight Glimmer stuff that I actually care about can be season 2. Or better yet, how about we just get rid of Princess Flurry Heart and say she never existed? And, we just have Starlight Glimmer show off that she is not the worst character ever, and that she actually can be, likable, as long as she's continually written in this way. Because I like this. I actually, she even kind of did that thing where she was manipulative, but not necessarily for an evil reason. And it actually it was one of the funnier moments and one of the better moments of the episode, where they're in the Crystal Kingdom, if you couldn't guess from my rambling or from anything you've seen of the episode. So they're in the Crystal Kingdom, so Spike's the, big hero guy of the Crystal Kingdom, so they, they're walking along, and she doesn't really want to meet her friend she hasn't met in forever, because, like I said, she became a big evil villain, and she just doesn't know what the heck to talk about. Like, she thinks she went on to be a big important wizard, so she's like, what do I tell him about, what I've been doing for the past several years? How do I say, hey, it's your fault I became an evil, stupid, idiot villain? So, then they're going along, and Spike, she sees a statue of Spike, and she's like, oh, wow, that's a thing, and she's like, hey, Spike, is that you? And he's like, yeah. And he tries to keep moving on, but, she pushes and she's like, hey, you saved the Crystal Kingdom? What? And, people start gathering because, Spike, did save the Crystal Kingdom. And, so then she's like, whoa, Spike, you gotta tell me the story. Like, people are starting to gather, and she's like, you gotta tell me this story. I'm not even gonna leave this spot until you tell me that your great story. And I don't know why, it was just really funny. I guess because it wasn't really harmful. It was, it was mostly just a delay in the trip. But so she sits down with popcorn and listens to Spike's story and tries to egg him on, and I guess it's partially entertaining because it's always fun to see, it's fun to see some Spike love, like usual when it goes to the Crystal Kingdom, because, you don't see that all the time. It feels like there's a lot of Spike abuse often in the show. So that was one of the more fun moments, and, something that I can't really say was... It was something that was her using, I guess you could call it charisma, but she wasn't necessarily being a terrible person. She was just, she was trying to delay the trip. I guess maybe more than delay the trip, but... it was pretty harmless stuff, obviously. I don't think there's much else to mention. I think there's a car outside, so sorry about that noise. Okay, so I'll just mention off, so I do not think, I guess as a final thing I'll say, I do not think this season will be ruined because Starlight Glimmer. This episode has proven that she can be written well, and I do not think this season will be ruined by Princess Flurry Heart, because, crossing my fingers, I do not think she will show up in very many episodes. What I will say is I hope that any further storyline episodes are better, because right now this season is shaping up to be the kind of season that's only going to be good for slice of life episodes. Because that's, like, the only part of this that was slightly good, was the slice of lifey stuff. All of the action stuff of this season opener were terrible, and I hated it. So, that's just my opinions, though, you guys can feel free to leave your own opinions about Princess Flurry Heart, Starlight Glimmer, how you felt about the episode, whatever. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all next time.